Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I want to thank you all for tuning us in and turning us on. I want to thank you also for tuning us in on Transformation Talk Radio, however you are doing that, whether you're downloading the app or listening in your car or, somebody the other day said to me that they talk to their, what is it, the Alexa or something. They say, play Transformation Talk Radio. And I'm like, what? So Jessica and the team, yeah, they've got it all covered. So that allows me just to show up. I just show up. And so I've got a great show for you guys today. And did I lose somebody there?
We're here.
Oh, there you go. I don't know what happened right there. One of the things that I love is anytime I do a show that has to do with health or wellness, or it has to do with talking about something innovative that whether I've tried or you all have tried. And about 18 months ago, one of our listeners talked to me about water. And they said, why don't you talk about the water? Bring somebody on to talk about the water. And I didn't know in my own backyard, my friend Dan knew all about the water. And so he and I, who I'm going to introduce you to today, Dan Edlin, he and I started to talk about water. And we started to talk about hydration, but a very, very important point about hydration. So generally, we're thinking all water is the same. All water is not the same, as I have found out. So I wanted to do this show sort of in review, because what happened 18 months ago, one of you said to me, you got to try the pH water. I tried the pH water. Then Dan all of a sudden says, let me have you take this pH machine, put it in your house. And what I shared in that show that we did previously was that here I am. I get a lot of blood work done. We're checking on this. We're checking on that because of a previous situation I had. And all of a sudden, I get this blood work. 2 months go by, and the blood work changes significantly. And so my doctor's looking at it, and I'm looking at it, and we're thinking, what happened? The only other change at that point in time, now I'm going to catch up with you. At that point in time, the only change was the water. That was it. The water. I already had my supplements. I already had this, I already that. So then Dan, come on back on the show. What is the water? Today, we're going to do a year in review because I'm a skeptic. And when it comes to bringing information to you guys here, and you know this, over the past 15 years, there aren't a whole lot of products that I talk about. And certainly I'm not going to talk about anything that I'm not using. But I don't even understand how this water has worked. So let's fast forward to where we are today, and then I'm going to have Dan jump in, Steve jump in, because we've got a great show. Why is it today, for me, I'm down 15 pounds, pretty much, give or take 1 or 2, because, everybody likes to eat a little chocolate. And I have the resilience to play a sport I love 6 hours, 6 straight hours at a very, very fast pace. with maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So what has happened? And so what I want to say is, I don't know that things happen overnight, but something happens. And we're going to dive into this today. What is it about the water that me, this skeptic, for years didn't want to talk about pH water? And only because my buddy Dan is my buddy Dan did I give him a chance. Dan, welcome to the show. Steve, welcome to the show. It's great to have both of you here.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
So I'm like everybody else. I mean, when I first talked with you, first of all, I know you, and you are the most vital, vibrant guy. You're always happy. You're always optimistic, and you're always full of energy. And I finally decided, let's try this out. So a year ago, that's what we did. Fast forward to where we are today. Now, I'm not going to talk about the blood work that I posted like a year ago. That is it's still great.
Really? Great.
Why is it the water works? And welcome to the show to both of you.
Okay, and so we'll start off by probably saying that, we're not here to make a medical claim. What we're going to be talking about today is putting the body and giving it the best chance to actually defend itself. I mean, the body has the natural capability of healing. We just have to put it into the right circumstances. So let me start by saying that. But, we are always making the reference to pH. Everybody's always talking about pH. But, it's truly the antioxidant properties that the ionizer creates that really goes into the body and does a tremendous amount of healing. So first and foremost, we would probably want to speak about the antioxidant properties that are giving all the benefits. We've really found that the pH, although important and very, very different than pH you'll find in bottled water, because that's through inorganic minerals. That's a chemical change, very, very different. But yes, the antioxidants coupled with the pH do have tremendous effects in the body. At least, that's what I've found, and it sounds like what you found. So,
well, I think it's like, how they talk about this perfect storm?
Sure.
I think it's when you put things together. The thing I want to talk about, and I agree with you. I'm not talking about any medical claims. I'm talking about my own personal story.
Yes.
And the other flip side of that is that, when you go to doctors and they do the same thing and everything stays the same, then all of a sudden, what happens when it changes? They want to know, what did you do? What supplements you taking?
Right.
And honestly, you can't eat enough goji berries to get the kind of antioxidants you can in water, right? So, welcome to the show, Steve, right?
Thank you, Dr. Pat. Good morning. And yes, you're absolutely right. You're talking about antioxidants, and that's the big buzzword that we're hearing now is we want more antioxidants. And it's absolutely true that the amount of time that we live is directly proportional to the antioxidants that we maintain in our body. And we can eat all these fruits and vegetables and eat raspberries and blueberries, but you're still not going to get the amount of concentrated selective antioxidants in 5-10 pounds of blueberries that you're going to get in just 1 8-ounce glass of this water.
Yeah. And let's talk about that. When we say antioxidants, we got to give people a scale. We got to talk a little bit about like the amount for a minute, because every vitamin you pick up, any mineral water, this, that, they always got there. It's on the label. It's like antioxidants.
Sure.
But we're not like talking about like a little teeny bit. Tell us really what we're talking about, because I think it's all about understanding quality, right?
Absolutely. And I can address that. So when we're talking about antioxidants, there is a way to measure that, and we measure it by the electricity or the electrons that would be found in a substance. For example, green tea. We measure the oxidation potential of green tea. So if it has a positive number, then it's oxidizing. It's actually causing damage or rust in the body. But if it's an antioxidant, then it will measure a negative number. So for our example today, green tea in its purest, rawest form, which is a known antioxidant, measures at about negative 50 millivolts in terms of antioxidants. Vitamin C in its purest form, negative 75. Cod liver oil, negative 70, negative 75. This water, when it comes directly out of the device, can be anywhere from negative 400 to negative 750 millivolts, which is astronomical considering it's a logarithmic scale. So we're looking at hundreds of times more antioxidants in a glass of water than by eating pounds and pounds of berries and having those, they have to be digested.
Yeah.
There's a process of assimilation in the body. What happens when you drink this water, since it's an electrical charge, is those antioxidants are bioavailable immediately
in the system.
And you know, those free electrons that are provided by this water immediately go out and create healthy cells out of free radicals.
And I think that's what we're trying to talk about here, is we're trying to talk about building up the body, building up the resilience, and restoring us back to wholeness. You know, because go ahead, Dan.
Oh, and Pat, and I was going to throw in one thing because, like I said, we're not making a medical claim, but to your own testimony, and it's funny that you threw that in because I can say after doing hundreds of these machines to helping other people that the average woman weight loss is somewhere right in there around the 11 to 14 pounds, and the males is just a little bit less. And that is literally not doing any difference to the diet or eating habits or exercise. It's simply going from the acidic to the alkaline environment and shedding, mostly, for the most part, if people want to hear this, it's usually just a matter of fecal matter. Yeah,
you know, the bottom line, too, is, let me just say this. We haven't talked about this, but I think this is important. Why is it we don't drink water? I mean, our bodies so need water. Our bodies need water. And I'm not talking about like a little sip here, a little sip there. It just needs water. So we're human beings. We generally don't put things in our mouth that we don't think taste good.
Right.
At a conscious and subconscious level, we don't do it. You know, clearly when mom gave us the cough syrup or whatever mom gave us that didn't taste good, we did it. But at a subconscious level, we're not going to be drawn to drink or eat something that just doesn't taste right. And we know it doesn't taste right. So I think there's that factor as well, having to do with, man, this stuff goes down so easily. And that's something we didn't talk about last time.
Right. Want to speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're absolutely right, Dr. Pat, about most people don't want to drink water either A, because of the taste, or B, because of the way that it makes them feel. And what I've come across in my experience is most people don't like the way it makes them feel. It makes them feel full. It makes them feel bloated. They can't go running or ride a bike after they drink a lot of water because it weighs them down. It makes them sick. And the very first thing that I personally noticed when I drank my first glass of this water was that I didn't feel it at all. In fact, I could have stood up and done a dozen jumping jacks without feeling any water in my stomach. So I actually kept drinking it, and I was chugging it, trying to get that bloated feeling, and I never got that. And the reason for that is because the structure of this water can actually permeate cell membranes almost 80% more effectively than regular water or any other type of water can. And it can also pass through the brain-blood barrier, which is why so many people are getting better night's sleep. They're feeling more energetic because the brain is hydrated properly, because the brain is almost all water, entirely almost all water. And it doesn't retain that water. So when we sleep, we're chronically dehydrated. And we have this brain fog when we first wake up in the morning. And our gut reaction is to get a cup of coffee. When what our body is telling us is that it needs water. It needs lots of water to get that brain hydrated, producing the right chemicals, and functioning properly. And when you drink a big glass of this water before your coffee, you can feel your brain come online. And you feel that energy and that fog lifted before you have your coffee.
Well, and I think it's important to add, because we keep talking about water, and we might get somebody on the line that gets enthused about the idea of drinking more water. But what we're talking about today is we'd like them to come get in touch with you there, and then they can get in touch with us and actually see why this water in person or on video is so dramatically different. Because as Steve said, once you start to intake your water and the body starts to react and actually feel good, there's that natural inclination to want to drink more. And what we end up really saying to people, and they end up agreeing after a week or two, is I think people truly forget sometimes how good their body is designed to feel. But with these infusion of these acidic beverages that are constantly just inundating our system, and the tap water supply, we slowly start to lose ourselves, and then we attribute it all to, oh, well, that's just age, but it really isn't. It's treatment of the body, and we just haven't found anything in the world that'll affect your body as quickly as this water will. So something.
It makes me a little crazy. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to go off right now a little bit. You know me, so don't worry about it. No cuss words today. But here's the thing. So at any given point in time, I will walk out my door and there will be these empty bottles from my buddies. And I fill them up gladly because I want my friends. I mean, I'm in here like the water's down there and I'm like filling them up for them.
Right.
Why would people go out of their way? So this is really, I'm a psychologist, right? And I'm a behavioral psychologist, cognitive psychologist, if people really want to know, but they don't. And so anyway, so I like to think about things like that. And here I'm thinking about it. Generally, we don't go out of our way for stuff. But we do go out of our way, or at least what I'm watching is I go out to my front door and there would be a bottle. And so I fill it up from my buddies. Or Jessica gets her bottles filled up. There's a draw to this. And I think after a while, at least what I'm finding is if I step away, like one time, Dan, you had to replace my filter. I didn't even know how to replace the filter. And I'm like, you can sense that the body is really appreciating what we put in it. But what is it about this particular water and about this particular machine that makes it so special? What have you guys discovered? Because I don't know how to talk about it. I just know what I want to put in my body.
Well, a couple things that we've discovered. For one thing, it tastes good. That's the first thing people notice, that it tastes better, that it feels better. We already covered that. But it's what it does long-term in the body. And it's you're putting something that's actually helping the body rather than something that's harming or that's causing damage. In almost everything we do is acid forming, it's oxidative. We create stress on our bodies. And oftentimes the very food that we eat to re-energize ourselves and to nourish ourselves is causing that same reverse effect of actually doing more damage than good. Mm-hmm. And what we strive for is balance, the state of balance, where we can put our bodies back to the way it's meant to be, give our immune systems and our bodies the best fighting chance at recovery, at healing itself, because we know that we have bodies that are amazing, that can prevent and cure all disease, including cancer, if we support it properly. So we're giving the body its best chance. If the body's 70%, 75% water, do you want to put good water or bad water into that body? I love the analogy of a car. Okay, if you had a $750,000 Rolls Royce or Ferrari, are you going to put cheap gas or cheap oil into that car? Absolutely not. You're going to put the best. And the difference between the body and the car is you only get one body. You can buy another car. So we only have one body. We have to do our best job to take care of it. And we feel that the right water in the body is the body's best chance at defense against all disease.
And Pat, if I can throw in really quick. And the reason that people feel such a dramatic difference is, they start with tap water. We take out all the chlorine, all the contaminants. And so for your listeners in the audience that, are drinking tap water, I did want to take a quick moment to explain a quick little process. Yeah. Anybody in your audience can go to ewg.org. A site will come up. They can select the National Tap Water Database. It'll say for them to enter their zip code, and then they can select their water supplier, And the amazing thing about that is they can find out in an instant not only all of the contaminants in their home, but the contaminants in their home above the federal allowable limit. And it's an interesting exercise because every time we do it locally, we give seminars, we do speeches on this stuff all the time, and people will say, I think my water's, not terribly bad. And we'll have them go through this exercise, and it will pull up anywhere from 7 to 20 contaminants over the federal limit going into everybody's home. And the interesting thing about that is right next to it, it says causes cancer. So it's amazing how little people know about what they put into their body. And going back to the car analogy, I always say to people, why does somebody care more about the gas they put in their car than the gas than they put in their own body? But really, it's become, that's our way of thinking.
Okay, so we're going to do this when we come back because you just opened it up. But I want to do two things. One, I want to let folks know that we have opened up the phone lines because I want to bring Dan C back because, first of all, I don't have the answers to a lot of the questions that you all have. So please feel free to give us a call, 1-800-930-2819, 1-800-930-2819. The other thing is when we come back, we're going to look up some zip codes. We're going to look up mine. We're going to look up Linda's. We're going to look up Jessica's. We're going to look a few of these up. And then we're going to share those results. If you want to call in and you want us to look up your zip code, we can do that. The other thing that we're going to talk about, and this is what I've discovered, is wonder why this is that in the fluest of flu seasons, right, I didn't get the flu. But more importantly, what is this other thing in the machine that I discovered that I started to use? What is it that I discovered? It took me a really long time to figure it out, though, because when Dan was showing me, I wasn't paying attention, of course. But what is the other thing that I found out in this that now is my go-to for almost everything I clean in the house? Let's take a short break, everybody. Dan, what's the best website for people to find out more about this? Can they go to your site?
Well, yeah, they can go to www.kongandan.com. They can obviously contact you, and they can certainly get a hold of me or me and Steve through that, and we can answer personal questions. My phone number's on there if anybody would like to text or call, and we can certainly spread the knowledge, send videos, so we'll get the information out to them.
Yeah, and I think that we put something up too, but I'm not exactly sure, but we'll get a lot of information. The point is, I want people to have a resource through you to be able to answer questions and get questions answered and all of the above. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, two things. We're going to take a look at the water in your area, but more importantly, we've got some innovative things that both Dan and Steve are going to share with us when we come back, everybody. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Social grace is by your head. Their pies here, but you and I, we're pioneers. We make our own rules, our own room, nobody's here.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you're ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com. That's thefearandanxietysolution.com or call 866-903-6463. That's 866-903-6463. mind.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Darcy Pariso is your connection to spirit, energy, and healing. You can meet Darcy in person at upcoming events throughout Seattle. Do you have questions about your animal companions, yourself, or do you desire to communicate with loved ones on the other side? Darcy will connect you and get answers. Darcy can also work with energy healing to help you and your animal companions feel more balanced and recharged. Visit darcypariso.com/events.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive by Dan Steve. Thank you both for joining me here today. Hey, listen, first of all, let everybody know your names. Give your full names out so folks know who they are when they get a hold of you. And then I want to make sure that we're giving out lots of website information before we talk about this. So, Dan, why don't you go first? And then would you guys both talk about sort of the educational platform that you have?
Sure. So my name's Dan Edland, Edland. You can find me at Kangen, KANGENDAN.com. And my phone number is 206-769-0692. And as you're learning about this today, if you do have an interest or you start to learn about the tap water that's going into your home and you'd like more education, you can obviously get a hold of Dr. Pat, me, or Steve Beaumont here, and he's going to give out his information in a second. We hold weekly seminars. We have all kinds of places for you to bring us your water. We can show you whether you're drinking bottled water, whether you're drinking tap water, distilled water, reverse osmosis water, and we can really show you a 20 to 25-year plan where you never have to participate in the plastic water crisis again, or be subject to putting your tap water into your food supply and things like that. So we do hold weekly and monthly education, and we'd love to have you come out and actually see this in person. So
awesome.
Thanks, Dan. I'm Steve Beaumont. You can contact me at www.truehealthvision.com, and my phone number is 724-388-6881. I know this is a nationwide show, Pat, so if we have listeners that are outside of the greater Seattle area, the great news is that we can share this with you no matter where you live. Anywhere in the country, we can actually share this with you anywhere in the world because we're doing business in over 190 countries now. So we'd love to just reach out to us. We can share some information with you. If you live locally, we can even share the water with you physically, give you an opportunity to try it. But really, we just want to raise awareness of what's out there, what the bottled beverage companies, how they're scamming people and riding on the coattails of what we're doing. So we're just trying to bring awareness to what's out there, and what we could be doing is an active part to helping people live healthier lives.
Well, I mean, look, I mean, I was a bottled water person, and so nothing changed drinking bottled water for me. I can only talk about sort of the changes that I experienced, and I know that you've got countless people. The thing that I'm really struck by is, and let's take a little journey down this EWG tap water database. We live in Washington State, and so myself, I'm thinking Washington State, we got to have like Jersey where Linda lives beat. And so then I'm looking this up, and I'm looking at okay, I go to the database and I scroll down and I scroll down. I see Bothell, city of Bothell, and I grab on Bothell and I start to look at this. And then down in the middle of the page, there are two numbers. One is a 6, and then another is a 7. And the 6 says contaminants detected above the health guidelines. What is that? Like in our water? Wow.
Well,
and then I look at the names. Let's talk about the names. Bromodichloromethane, chloroform, chromium hexavalent. That's like Aaron Brockovich.
Right, Aaron Brockovich.
Oh, boy, you better not be listening to this show, Bothell. And then it goes on. I don't even know the rest of these. Triethylmethylanes and all. This is just Bothell water. Now, those are the contaminants above the guidelines. And so next to each word, it says the thing. Cancer, 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 cancer. I'm not making this up, everybody. I'm reading this. Go to this website. Check out your water. EWG.org, and it's the tap water. Okay, so then over here is another number. It's 7 other detected contaminants. Wow. I can't even believe that these are okay in the guidelines. Do you guys know why this website was put up? I mean, because this is not your website. This is a database.
Right. This is a national tap water database, and I believe, at some point, you have to have freedom of information has to come into play, and people deserve the right to know what's in their water. So an interesting thing is I just got back from Oklahoma City. Now, Texas, Oklahoma, and interestingly enough, Idaho were just voted 1, 2, 3 the worst waters in the country. Interesting. But in Oklahoma, where you saw a 6, the average number for the homes I was in Oklahoma was 17. And that was 17 above the guidelines, but there were things like radiological contaminants, pharmaceutical contaminants. So, different parts of the country do get affected differently. But yeah, it's always disturbing to look down and just see row after row of cancer causing, to know you're bathing in that, you're washing your food in it, you're putting those things, the chlorine and things, all those aspects into your food supply. So, and then everybody wonders why we get sick. I mean, follow the trail, and it's not a conspiracy, man. It's deadly serious, and it's happening to all of us, and it's happening everywhere around us. And so everybody that's listening today should take the opportunity to go to that site and at least find out what's coming into your own home and what you're putting in your own body.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's important for folks to really take a look at. And if you do nothing else with the show today, I mean, this is where, we all need to be talking to our local lawmakers. I wonder if they even know. It was interesting that I was looking at this, and I thought for sure that I look up New Jersey, and clearly here in Bothell, we're drinking the clean stuff. I'm never going to be able to live this down with Linda, of course. But the point is that even when I look at where Linda lives and that system, we're still talking about chromium hexavalent in the water. We're also talking about some other forms of, it's interesting, they got the word cancer next to it, right? Mm-hmm. And these are carcinogens. I think what we're talking about here is an education for people so they can make intelligent, informed choices. Absolutely. It's really clear. I want to ask you a little bit, because many people are listening to us and they don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
Let's talk about the machine for a minute, because I refer to it as the machine. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about it a little bit, of what has been developed, how long has this technology been around. And I got to tell you, I love how reliable it is. I mean, it just keeps cranking. And I'm pretty sure, Dan, I'm not doing the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. But anyway,
Well, you weren't listening to when Dan showed it to you, so you can't be held accountable. But I'd love to come by and show you again.
Anytime.
But what we're talking about, it's unfortunate when we talk about this here in the States because people kind of look at you a little sideways. They have no idea what you're talking about. But, this is a technology that's almost 5 decades old and is widely used throughout Europe and Japan and is considered preventive medicine, and is used in hospitals as such in Japan. And, but yet here in the States, people go, oh, I know my tap water's not very good, but, I have my bottled water, and there's very, very little education about what's going on with that. But, this is, like I said, a 50-year-old privately held company manufacturing an amazing water ionizer that takes the contaminants and the chlorine and many of these other things out of your tap water and runs it through the process of electrolysis. Just duplicating what goes on naturally in nature. National Geographic has got an amazing book called The Blue Zones, where people would gravitate to these places around the world where there was, what they found is there's an abundance of molecular hydrogen, creating an antioxidant property in the water. And so what the Japanese did, many, many years ago was put 2 and 2 together and put this out there as a preventative medical device. And they can say that there. We just can't say it here because we're a little bit more pharmaceutical driven in the States. But yes, an original equipment manufacturer made under the strictest guidelines of governed by, the country of Japan, and just the absolute gold standard in the industry. But like I said, relatively unheard of here. But yes, reliability, no moving parts on most of the machines, incredibly reliable. We find people that have old ones that they found or have been left to them, and we test them, and they work very, very similar to brand new conditions, even when they're, 8, 10, 12 years old. And, anybody that's skeptical about this product, I promise they haven't drank it, because the ones that do sound like me, sound like him, sound like you. So we really employ people to, come out and get educated. Get educated about the bottled water you put in your body. Get educated about the water and the beverages you're putting in your children, because, it's just information. If you find out what you can from you and Steve and I, and it's not for you, that's one thing. But take a moment to educate yourself, because it's your body.
Well, what I find fascinating about it, and, I really feel a responsibility to our listeners. I've been doing this 15 years. There's a reason that we have the rating that we have from our listeners. And it's because I need to make sure that since the first time we talked about this and you came in the studio, that we're still able to talk about it in this same way. And what I've noticed for myself is less about myself and more about the way other people are reacting. Right. And I'm like you. I'm like, yeah, give me your empty bottle and I'll fill it up for you, because it's never about the machine. It's always about, the people we love. I want to ask you this, because I don't, maybe you know or you don't know. Our skin is the largest organ we have. And I'm a little bit shocked with these numbers that I'm looking at here on the chart with Bothell. I don't even know what Kirkland or the other places are. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, all right, brush my teeth, wash my face, take my shower. How many days do I do that? How many days of the year? How many years? And I'm just a little bit struck by it. Now, I don't know what the impact is, if any. I just know it's a little weird to be putting chromium hexavalent on my skin.
Right.
Right? Or not?
Absolutely. You want to speak to that before, right?
Yeah. And what most people don't realize is that, they think, so I'm filtering my water. I have my Brita, so I'm getting a little bit of the chlorine out, and that's really about it. And, they don't think about anything else. They don't think about when they wash their hands. They don't think about when they wash their food, when they boil their pasta. They definitely don't think about when they shower. And here's the reality, Dr. Pat. When you shower, you're heating the water, which is actually vaporizing not only the water, but everything that's in it. So that chromium hexavalent and that chlorine and all those other chemicals and toxins that are in our tap water are not only going into our skin and into our bloodstream that way, but they're actually going into our lungs as well. the incident with mustard gas, and I think it was World War II. That's chlorine. They were creating a toxic gas out of chlorine. Oh, that's what we're breathing in the shower. And, we're just helping people become more aware of that. And, we have skin problems, eczema, psoriasis, skin cancer. These are rampant conditions these days. And asthma. Asthma is off the charts, and people don't realize that they're breathing chlorine, and it sits in the lungs. And
Linda and I were just talking about that today.
Well, and if I can throw in my 2 cents real quick, because the funny thing is people go, we start talking about the chlorine in the water supply with the showers, how it gets into your food, and they go, well, I've never noticed that. But the funny thing is, it's like everything in life. We become conditioned to it. I am telling anybody in your audience, if I came to their home, took them out of their chlorine for 7 days, and then put them back in their regular shower, they would come to me with itching, burning skin and say, oh my goodness, I had no clue. But the thing is, we become accustomed to it, right? But it's the absence of, once we show them a different way and they get back in it, it becomes very apparent very, very quickly. And it is horrific on the skin.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Benny's listening or not, but I clicked on the Seattle, which is linked to the city of Renton. And of course, it's got all of the, it's got all of the stuff we just talked about, but then it's got 12 other detected contaminants. And I'm a little shocked by this. What the heck is DCPA diacid degraded? I mean, and then they show you where you stand compared to the national average. And Washington is like neck and neck with the national average. I mean, it's like our state. So, I mean, it's really unnerving about this a little bit. I've never looked at this. How did you guys find out about this site?
Well, when you spend your life talking about water, you look for resources. You don't want to, you can only get looked at like you're the crazy guy for so long. So when you come across things like this, you remember it because, water is a subject that people just absolutely take for granted in this country, and they give very, very little thought to. So, but when you can say to them, hey, this is the water going into your own home, it helps to have them take a second look. That's why a lot of these product demonstrations will just go into people's home, because when we show them the chlorine in their house, when we show them the chlorine being sucked up by their own food as they're making something in their home, it's a lot more eye-opening. And so,
oh my God,
we need all the resources we can get. And so what we always try and tell people, and this is a 20, 25-year answer. And the thing that we say to people, the tap water is not going to get any better. And the bottled water, which is already acidic and oxidizing and much more harmful for people than they actually think.
Oh, it's horrible for the environment. We actually have a plastic crisis.
We do. And the thing is that has surpassed gasoline in price per gallon in this country. So the thing is, we're trying to show them an alternative where they can go from $3.50, $4.50, $5.50 a gallon to literally 12 to 15 cents and have a green home. And the machine produces so many kinds of water. I believe another one you had a question about.
Yeah. So listen, we don't have enough time during this show to read this stuff. I'm going to do a whole other show on this because, part of the Dr. Pat show, we talk about holistic living. I've been talking about the rise in autism 15 years ago. I started with that conversation, and I'm looking at it now. And I'm looking at these what's the word? Within the guideline contaminants in Renton. And I'm reading this one thing here because I didn't even know this before the show today. And I'm reading this thing, and this monochloric acid is one of the 5 haloacetic acids regulated by federal standards. And it tells you it's formed when chlorine and other disinfectants come together. So here's what it says. These acids and other disinfectants byproducts increase the risk of cancer and may cause problems during pregnancy. I don't know why we put labels on our products that hurt women that are pregnant, and we're not doing it with our water.
Right.
Why do we put these labels? Don't smoke this cigarette. Don't drink this wine. Don't do this. If you're pregnant, don't do this. And we're not telling people about this. This is like totally weird to me this year. I don't get it. But here's the solution. The solution is, first of all, since starting this show, it's been about education and information. Number one, I do not like to come to the table to say to people, buy this, buy that. I love to be able to present information, let everybody decide for themselves. But here's what I want to say. Whether or not you're interested in a machine or not, please look at what you're putting in your body. If nothing else from the show today, please look at this, because this is, even for me now, knowing you, Dan, for a bunch of years, this is really shocking. I want to talk about two things. One of the things that people always talk to me about on anything is cost. And what I love is that if there's generally a machine for everybody, and by the way, you can put them on a payment plan.
Absolutely.
That's how I got mine.
Sure.
But the other thing is, there are other products and other things that some of us, we have homeowners here. We have people that might want to put a system in their house. I don't know. How does that even work? Does that work? Where you can put something in your house and filter the water?
Well, there's not a whole house system. So what it does is there's a couple different avenues that we can go. And like I said, the antioxidant properties are the true value of this water. Like I said, made from your horrific tap water. So we make that right at the source. But we don't have the ability to do a whole house system because of the plate structure that the water needs to be run over. So that's probably sometime in the future down the road. But
hurry up.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the biggest.
I was like, hurry up, please.
Yeah, that's the biggest question that we get. But, as far as, when people also talk about cost, we can certainly cover that. But, there is other waters that the machine makes. I mean, you replace so many of the different, bleaches and detergents and stuff that people use in their home. We use, the water in conjunction with soap chips to do our laundry. So there's so many cost savings affiliated with this. And if you're drinking bottled water of any kind and you're out there, trust me, you've already bought multiple machines. You can more than afford this, and you'll save a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, so I have a really dumb question for you. I was talking to my dentist, and I'm now acutely aware, and I'm trying to figure out, like, out of everything we do, right? Why is it in this country we're not following suit with Japan and Australia and those folks that are looking at the cleaning properties? So one of the things I said when I came back from break is I discovered this other little function in the machine. And you know this, Dan. I'm calling Dan. I'm like, Dan, help me. Am I doing the solution right? Am I cleaning my counters? So here's what I did. I did an experiment. And maybe next time we'll do it. So part of the machine also has this other function. And the other function is it produces this, I don't know, I call it the opposite water. But it's very high in cleaning properties and killing germs.
Yeah, we'll let Steve speak to the 2.5 acidic waters.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll let Steve speak on that.
Yeah, we got about 3 minutes, and then we'll come back and talk about that.
He'll give you the 3-minute spiel.
Yeah, Pat, what you've just discovered is hypochlorous acid. And what hypochlorous acid is it is a non-toxic bleach. It's what happens when you electrolyze salt water. And what's amazing about that is the FDA has approved hypochlorous acid for hundreds of uses, many of which are in the food service industry and many of which are in the medical industry. So what that solution is able to do, hypochlorous acid, can kill bacteria, germs, staph, E. coli, gangrene, twice as effectively as bleach, yet it's non-toxic. So if I had food poisoning, Dr. Pat, I could drink 1.5 ounces of that strong acid water to kill all that bad bacteria in my gut, and it won't hurt me. But you couldn't do that with a couple ounces of bleach.
Yeah,
if I had a sinus infection, I could put
exactly.
I could put some strong acid water in a neti pot and breathe it. if I did that with bleach, it would kill me. So what we're doing is we're giving people the ability to clean and disinfect their homes and their businesses toxic and chemical free. For example, lots and lots of restaurants are getting on board with this. Dan and I both are personally working with many restaurants in the Seattle area. We have some big name restaurants as well that they're utilizing this to clean, to disinfect, to wash their food, to prepare their food.
Yep. And that's why I want to talk about it. When you guys come back, I want to talk about just this part of it. And the reason I want to talk about it is I wipe my counters. I'm serious, everything, vegetables. And my experiment was I accidentally, by the way, spilled the little bottle of it on my butcher block counter accidentally, because I would never do that. It runs everywhere, right? And it spilled on there, wiped it off, soaked in wet. What that did to clean the butcher block was stunning to me. I don't understand the mechanical part of that, but it was as if I put Clorox on it. And so I want to come back and talk about this because infections, co-infections in this country are on the rise. And antibiotics, I don't know. That's another show I do with Darvish, Dr. Darvish and Dr. Ronnie. But the point is, we've got to be more preventative. And when you guys come back, I want to focus on this. I want to focus on how a mom can get rid of those toxic cleaners, or how any of us can get rid of it. And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to demonstrate it. Thank you both. One last question. Websites, phone numbers. How can we get a hold of you? I would love people to call you. I'd love them to ask you questions. And please, ewg.org, look at your water. How can we get a hold of you, Steve?
You can get a hold of me at my website is www.truehealthvision.com, all one word, truehealthvision.com. And my phone number direct is 724-388-6881.
All right, and I want to follow up with you guys about the restaurant stuff. My friend actually owns a restaurant, and I'm going to get her in contact with you guys because I don't think any of them know about any of this. Thank you both for taking the time.
Tried to swim against, put me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing, come out of things unsaid.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.